Rise and shine, video game players. Today is the release day of Early Access for V-Rising. I'll be playing it and making videos about it. But if you're unsure as to whether you want to get in on the Early Access ride before you see more gameplay of it, I have played the game during the beta test, and here are my impressions of the beta and recorded gameplay from it. V-Rising is at its core the standard survival game, where gathering resources allow you to construct new and improved tools that will allow you to gather new resources that will allow you to make even newer and more improved tools that in turn let you gather new resources that, well, you get it. But in order to make this loop happen, you need your castle. In the beginning, you have access to wood and stone, which allow you to build a basic castle with wooden palisade walls. Later on, we can create bricks that allow us to build real castle walls and a proper roof over our heads to protect us from the sun. In it, we build crafting stations, machines that refine resources, and chests upon chests that we store our stuff in. Historically, I haven't been the biggest fan of survival games in general, and in other games, I have always shied away from crafting and building. This has changed a bit over the years, however, thanks to games like Don't Starve and Valheim. Having played Battlerite, however, the thing that interested me the most about V-Rising was the combat, and I wasn't so sure what I think about the building and crafting. But let me tell you, I have spent a lot of time building my castles, gathering and refining my resources, and crafting gear during the beta, and there are two reasons for that. The first being that in V-Rising, your castle and the things you can do in it is really integral to getting stronger and being able to enjoy those PvE bosses and, if you'd like, PvP battles. The second reason is the day-night cycle. When the sun is up, you'll burn to a crisp unless you stay in the shadows. There is a lot of shade in the game and you can absolutely traverse the world during it. However, combat can become very tricky. Because of this, you'll have a lot of times to spend indoors that's perfect for building your castles and crafting new gear. In not too long, I found myself in this rhythm of going out on hunts during the night and returning to use what I've gathered in my castle during the day. It's a nice back and forth that constantly keeps you busy. While the gear you craft gives you more hit points and weapon abilities, you can learn new spells and gain new crafting recipes by killing V-Blood bosses. In your castle, you can build a blood altar that lets you track the blood of powerful enemies that you can kill. Once you do and consume their blood, you learn a new spell or ability. I managed to defeat quite a few of these bosses and they're fun. So far, there's been a good amount of variety in the types of enemies you face, and if you've played Battlerite, you'll see some familiar faces and abilities and hear some familiar voices in these V-Blood bosses. It's great. To get to these V-Blood bosses, you need to run around the world, and let me tell you, you're not the only one doing that. In an earlier video, I was very excited about this game's road system. To give a quick recap, it's not just the roads you walk on. These roads are a part of certain NPCs' behavior, meaning different NPCs will travel different roads in different parts of the world at different times. The result is that deer will run into wolves, wolves will run into bandit poachers, a group of militia will suddenly walk past a bandit camp and a big fight starts. I've even had a wandering vampire hunter randomly walk into a fight I had versus a V-Blood boss, and he was so strong that I simply had to run away. Reading about this in the past, my hope was that it was going to make this world feel alive, and it absolutely does. Sometimes you'll walk into a bandit camp and all the bandits are dead. An opposing NPC faction had walked by when I wasn't even there and they killed all the bandits. The NPC characters in this game will go about their business regardless of what you do, and I love that. Before we keep talking about the world of V-Rising, like I said earlier, this footage is from the beta, and if you want to see what this game looks like during early access, I'll be playing this game live on my Twitch channel. If you're watching this video on the release day of Early Access, I'll be live tonight at 10 PM CET. Who knows, maybe that's right now. A link to my Twitch channel can be found in the description box below. So speaking of the world, how big is it? How big is the game? Well, it's hard to say since I didn't have time to do everything there is to do, and I'm not really sure how much of the game was actually in the beta. I'd say probably most of it, but I did find this bridge, but it was broken. I wasn't able to cross. What's up with that, SLS? What's on the other side of the bridge? But let's take a look at the map. Here's Farbane Woods. That's where we start. There are other areas. Different areas have different enemies and different resources, and so far, the farther away from the starting area I've gone, the tougher the enemies have been. And let me tell you, I spent most of the time I had during both weeks of beta testing that I was a part of in the Farbane Woods. There's a lot of things to do, and in the beta the devs had sped up the resource gathering by 1.5 or 2 times, so now that early access is out, I'll probably spend even more time in these woods. And while you can just go to these other areas straight away, the thing I said about enemies getting stronger, they get quite a lot stronger. Just going from bandits to militia, which I'd say is the step you're supposed to take difficulty-wise, is kind of a big step. I was at a point where I was just tanking bandit arrows while fighting other bandits and not giving a shite. At the same time, getting hit by just 2 or 3 militia crossbow arrows could absolutely ruin a fight and force me to run away. So when it comes to the size of the game, I won't be able to give you a specific amount of hours that it takes to play. But let me say this, I think there's a lot of game here already, and it will grow. The world will get wider and deeper, meaning we'll probably get a larger area to play in, and these areas will have more stuff added to them over time. One thing that I sadly haven't seen a lot of is the PvP. And I know there are a lot of people out there who have played earlier titles from SLS like Bloodline Champions and Battlerite and are interested in what this studio does because of the PvP combat. I would go as far as to say that the people working at this studio are masters at the craft of creating PvP combat. After my first week of V-Rising beta, I played a few matches of Battlerite again, and holy shit, that game is the best PvP experience out there. In my humble, unarguable, 100% correct opinion, that is. But in V-Rising, I didn't see a lot of PvP. The few PvP experiences I've had went like this. First, I went into a server pretty long after a lot of other people have already started playing there, and some people decided to kill me just because I was a new and defenseless vampire. That was changed between the 2 tests I was a part of though. Now you have like an hour of PvP protection when you join a new server. The other experience was me running into a bunch of players who were stronger than me and who were also going for the same V-Blood boss as I was at the same time. And they killed me in a heartbeat and then went on to kill the boss, which forced me to respawn, repair my stuff, run back to the boss, find another player there, then they killed me, and on that went for like 5 times in a row. Which was a little bit fun during the beta, but could be pretty frustrating, I guess, and here's why. From the little time I've had with the PvP, I'd say that this game is very reliant on your gear level. If another player has better gear, they will have a higher level, meaning more and stronger spells and abilities, as well as more hit points, and maybe I'm just bad, but those fights felt unwinnable. The PvP in this game feels a lot more reminiscent of Battlerite Royale than Battlerite. However, I don't want to sit here and say that the PvP in this game is outright bad. Like I said, the experience I had with it was very limited, and maybe you just need to reach a certain level before it's worth even considering PvPing. I would guess that PvP as it is right now will not satiate those looking for a new Battlerite. This is a different kind of game. PvP is a part of it, and some players will focus on it more than others, but it's not that pure PvP experience that you probably know SLS for from the past. So to the final question, what's the verdict? Is it fun? Yes. I have really fallen for the art style, the music, the world, and most importantly the gameplay loop. And I already have ideas for fun things I could do in the game outside of just playing the game like it's intended. There are still bosses, items, spells, and entire areas of the game that I still haven't seen, and I can't wait to get to all of it. I hope you'll all be with me as I journey through the world of Vardoran, sucking the blood of every NPC I can sink my teeth into. It would make me very happy if you went down to the description and clicked on the links to my Discord server and my Twitch channel. I need more people in my life who are also into V-Rising. Like I've said already, there will be more content on V-Rising both here and on my Twitch channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.